Hello everyone, I'm Max, and today I'm here to maximize your fear. So far, 2024 has been a year filled with many strange things caught on trail cams. From weird unidentified creatures to killers and to many other unexplainable phenomena. So today I decided to highlight some of the most chilling and downright horrifying creatures caught on trail cameras this year. So grab your maximum fear coffee mugs and allow your fear to be maximized as we recap the scariest trail camera clips of 2024. In this video, a woman goes truck camping deep in the wilderness and has a terrifying encounter and captures something unknown on camera. She chooses not to disclose her location because she doesn't want a lot of people going out there. But take a listen and watch as she recalls what happened.
I was sleeping, dead asleep last night. All of a sudden, I heard something rummaging through my cab. I rolled over and peeked through the window, and I swear there was like this huge thing standing there going through my stuff. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. There's no way it's a person. It dropped everything and scampered off into the woods behind me, like ran. It was on two legs.
She encountered some huge unknown creature. She describes it as human-like but not, and it runs on two legs. She says it kind of looked like a bear, but bears don't run on two legs. Determined to figure out what this thing was, she decides to stay and camp out again through the night. She sets up cameras to film the area around her truck and in the woods surrounding. Eventually, night rolls around and for hours she doesn't see anything. Until finally, in the complete dead of night, something is captured far in the distance. It's hard to see because it's far away, but looking closely we can see a hairy bipedal creature ripping through the woods. The creature is just as she described it. It seems a little shorter than usual, but online viewers are still convinced she encountered a Bigfoot out there. She still doesn't know what to make of it and doesn't give any generalized statement on what she thinks it could be. But viewers are convinced it was indeed a Sasquatch or some other cryptid creature. What do you guys think about this one? Is she simply faking it, or is it all too real? The following clear photo was reportedly taken by a trail camera in a remote forest. Like usual, the trail cam owner placed it there to monitor wildlife in the area, but this was not the kind of wildlife he expected. The motion and heat detecting trail camera snapped this solo photo. The creature is turned around, walking away from the camera. It has long black fur all over its entire body. The muscle structure of the arms and legs tells us it's most likely not a costume, as you can literally see the creature's defined muscles. Even its shoulders and head are defined, making this a very convincing photo. Also, taking a look at its fingers, they're much wider and longer than humans' fingers, and monkeys' fingers as well, proving this couldn't be any type of ape or monkey, or human. Considering the location wasn't listed, we don't know where exactly the photo comes from, but we do know it was taken in 2023. Definitely a very convincing photo, a clear and HD photo of a supposed Bigfoot. This horrifying encounter was highlighted on June 26, 2024. A woman goes out hiking in a strange stretch of woods in Ohio. At first, the hike seems normal, but then it becomes clear to her and to us that something is stalking her. Something much bigger and something unknown.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. I can't go home. Please, I'm leaving.
As she zooms in, we can initially see a pair of bright glowing eyes. followed by a dark, shadowy outline. It moves around and peers at her. She obviously feels threatened, so she makes her way out of the woods as quickly as she can. But even after she exits the woods, this dangerous creature still follows her.
Is it, dude? No! It looks like a person, man. Person. Stop. That ain't a person. Ah! It just keeps getting up and down, up and down. Stop.
Here we get a better look. Its eyes are still aglow and it seems rather tall and wide. It seems to be covered in dark fur. Some speculated this could be a bear, which honestly could be just as scary. However, the woman states, "What is it? It looks like a person," when she gets a very clear look at it. So if it were a bear, why did she say it looks like a human, and how could she not identify that it's a bear when she's only about 100 feet away? Because of the genuine fear in her voice and the overall look of the creature, most are speculating this actually was a Bigfoot, a Sasquatch that lives and hides in this remote Ohio woods. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. The following video is deeply, and I mean deeply, disturbing. Not much is known about the short clip except for the fact that a man was out alone in the woods very late at night. He was walking along until something behind a tree moving caught his eye. He neared closer, and what he caught might give you nightmares. From behind the tree, a woman with freakishly long legs is spotted. She stands up shaking and begins walking towards the lone hiker in a downright grotesque manner. She utters otherworldly noises and her face is the definition of off-putting. She then seemingly attacks him. Slowing the footage down and taking a closer look at her, she has large, dark sunken eyes and a sideways mouth. She has straggly black hair and she's wearing a white gown, a scene straight out of a horror movie. Now, because there's not much background information with this one, we can't 100% confirm its authenticity. We also can't confirm what happened to that man out there, but hopefully he's okay. A downright chilling clip regardless. The following clear image comes from a trail camera in Mississippi. Like most trail cameras, this one was set up to monitor the wildlife in the area. It was set up rather far back into the forest in Mississippi. The trail cam owner wanted to check what he captured on his camera, so he located the camera, found the SD card, and began reviewing his photos when he came across this one. He couldn't believe his eyes. A Bigfoot-like creature is seen. It seems it spotted the trail camera at the same time the trail camera spotted it. As the camera snapped the photo, the Sasquatch was staring right at it. Analyzing the photo, the fur on the body seems to be defined and fit to the body structure. If it were a man in a costume, the costume would be loose and unfitted. This here seems to be rather defined. And the face looks very real as well. Its eyes are dark, it has a big nose, and the hair atop its head seems straggly. This is a pretty compelling photo, and experts have yet to be able to debunk it, making people believe even more. Taking a look at a video released on July 27th, 2024, a group of guys were out exploring the woods in the dead of night. As they explored, they eventually came across a deer behaving strangely in the woods behind. What happens next will shock you.
See it? See that deer? Lucas, come here. It's gonna get up and walk. Yeah, come here, dude. Skinwalkers take the shape of anything, and that thing has not ran off yet, dude. I feel like that deer is following us. I can hear it in the woods.
Because skinwalkers are often linked to wild animals behaving strangely, they believe this deer could have been a skinwalker because of its odd behavior alone. But what happened next confirmed it.
There's a light back
Yep.
Strange animalistic shrieks are heard getting closer and closer as they run away. This made viewers believe this really could have been a skinwalker these guys came across. And after this, they ran all the way out of the woods and never looked back. Luckily, they were able to make it out of there safely because who knows what was really going on out there. Two friends are out exploring in a rather dark and remote area late at night. At first, they're seen climbing down a rocky hill. They began filming and climbing down this hill because they heard strange, otherworldly noises coming from down below. They were coming from the drainage pipe. They make it to the pipe and the man decides to aim his phone around the corner and into the pipe to see what's inside. And what was in there would scar them for life.
Dude, please don't go down there. Oh my gosh. Let me go first.
As the man reaches around and holds his phone out, a guttural screech rings out. And seen is a pale, skinny humanoid creature. The man got so frightened by the being that he stopped recording and the video cuts off there. But it seems the men were able to make it out of the area as they were able to upload the unsettling video to the internet. What was in that drain is unknown though. Upping the brightness and exposure, we can see it's excessively skinny, especially its legs and arms, and it's standing upright. And its head is slightly tilted to the side. Online viewers discussed the cryptid creature, the Rake, as a potential answer. The pale, skinny, humanoid creature that resembles this creature here. Or could it be a different cryptid creature entirely? Let me know your opinions in the comments down below. This shocking creature sighting apparently comes from the Himalayas. A group of people were out in the secluded, wintry forest this day just minding their own business. And the last thing they would have thought to see is a Bigfoot-like creature. Here's their footage. At first we see nothing, until we realize a dark, hairy beast was laying down, hiding in the snow, trying to blend in with the rocks surrounding. But when it knew it had been spotted, it got up and wandered away. But luckily the witnesses had a camera on them. The being trudges up the snowy hill and away from them. It certainly looks like a Bigfoot. It's dark and covered in hair. It has the characteristic dome-shaped head and the broad shoulders. It looks pretty convincing, and the way it walks seems human but non-human at the same time. Its strides seem odd. And looking at this still shot here, we can see how long its arms really are. They're unproportionately long, longer than that of a human. Definitely an interesting encounter. Did these witnesses really spot and film a Bigfoot in the Himalayas? This very creepy trail cam video was taken on April 24th, 2024 by Tik Tok user @TreeStump. The man goes online and purchases a trail camera. He states that he buys the camera because he wants to film a certain huge bug that flies around the area. So eventually the trail camera arrives and he sets it up in a good spot. The first few days he didn't catch anything though. But then he finally catches it. The short clip shows a flying insect that's at least a foot long. Now I have to say, I think this video is CGI. It has a glossy look and it almost looks fake. But the trail cam owner claims it's real. Even though this video is most likely edited, it's still an interesting one. I mean, imagine if there really were these types of bugs flying around. I mean, you really never know. In many areas of the world, there is so much unexplored jungle and wilderness. For example, in Guyana in South America, only 2% of the jungle there has ever been explored. This means it could be home to all kinds of unknown and undiscovered species. So even though this video is likely fake, the idea of huge bugs like this isn't too far-fetched. But what would you do if you had an encounter with a bug this big? This footage comes all the way back from 2012 but hasn't been seen by many. And it might actually be some of the most convincing evidence of Bigfoot ever, so I knew I needed to bring it to your guys' attention. A man named Todd Standing is a dedicated cryptid researcher and explorer. He is dedicated to prove the existence of Bigfoot to the world. He claims he discovered Bigfoots that live in a certain very remote stretch of woods, and now he's determined to film them. He starts his lengthy journey into the remote spot. He climbs up the mountain and searches around for a while until eventually he spots one.
This guy walked right into an area where I could film him and shoot him, and that's what I got. I know it'll be put through the ringer and whatnot. Eventually, when I can prove the species is real, people will start to understand this. I mean, it's tremendous evidence for me.
He captures its face perfectly on camera. You can see it looks strangely human-like but monkey-like at the same time. It's covered in hair, it has small dark eyes, and it has a strong bone structure in the face. Its skin and fur appear to be a light grayish color. It just stares at him. It almost seems kind of timid. But it's clear to us this isn't the face of some ordinary creature. Along with this amazing video evidence, Todd also snapped a few photos while he was up there, and he claims there were more than one of these Bigfoot creatures up there in the mountains with him. The photo here shows a Sasquatch's face with brownish hair, with the same dark black eyes as the other one. It looks similar but slightly different as well. Reportedly, seconds later, a chickadee landed about 5 feet away from him and began chirping and causing a commotion. This gave away his position to the creatures and he felt he was in danger, so he fled from the area. But as he was retreating, it seemed the creatures became infuriated, as a giant boulder was rolled down the hill right towards him.
And you see it go by you and smash and crash in the ground. You'll also see like a 400-pound log that was thrown at me. I'd love to have one of those skeptics there when I'm being pushed out of a domicile. Come out and experience what I've seen. You will be a believer. You don't need to see film. You don't need to have hair analyze the DNA unknown primate. You will realize really fast bears don't do that.
But not only did a rock get thrown, but also a giant log. It took him a few hours, but he finally made it out of the area. A search and rescue team were waiting for him and checked him out and made sure he was okay. If Todd Standing's encounter is real and is what he says it is, it has to be some of the most convincing evidence yet. And debunkers have yet to be able to debunk the short Bigfoot clip. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. The following disturbing encounter took place on July 10th, 2024. A lone explorer sets off into the woods for a nice day hike. Eventually, he comes across a little cave that caught his attention. So he got up closer, and when he got up closer, he began to hear strange voices coming from within the cave. So he pulled out his phone and began recording this video.
What? Hello?
No.
Why is that?
No.
Hello? What the hell? Bro, I don't care.
From within the dark cave, a weak voice can be heard saying help. Many people were upset with the man because it sounded like someone was in distress inside the cave, and he didn't help. He just ran away. However, the man stresses that whatever was in that cave was not human, and it was trying to trick him. He returns to the cave 2 days later on July 12th, and what he captures confirms that he was indeed correct.
It's like a trail just leading me. That was a bone I just broke. What the? Yep, nope, I'm good. Oh.
A trail of bones and skulls lined the path to the entrance. He tries to say hello again like last time, but this time he gets no response. To which he decides to grab and throw a small tree branch into the cave. Whatever was hiding inside the cave throws the branch right back out at him. He runs away in terror. What lurks inside this cave remains unknown, and it looks like it's gonna stay that way. But many speculate something evil and unknown lives inside. I'll keep you all updated if more footage is released. This brand new trail cam photo taken on July 29th, 2024 is shocking and disturbing many. It comes from North Carolina and it captures a Bigfoot-like cryptid. It reportedly originated from a man named Joey on Reddit. Joey stated, "Dogman caught on trail cam in North Carolina last night." Taking a look at the creature, it looks to be a real living creature with real muscle definition. But where the heck is its head? Is it just hunched over looking down, or is it actually headless? Moving down to the lower portions of the creature's body, its feet have a distinct shape. According to Rocky Mountain Sasquatch, the being has what's called reverse hinge joints, which is why the feet arch up like that in the back. This joint is commonly seen in other animals such as deer, wolves, and coyotes. But also notice the defined muscles of the upper thighs and upper arms. It's a very HD picture and it's insanely convincing. Its arms are excessively long, they stretch all the way from the shoulders all the way down to its shins. Experts have yet to debunk this one. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. The following footage seems to be close-up footage of a Sasquatch's face. A man named Todd claims he has found a spot in the woods where a Bigfoot roams. Along with his claims comes his video evidence, where he has captured this creature many times, each time with close-up footage. It seems this Bigfoot-like creature likes to stay hidden. It tries to blend in with the foliage surrounding, but Todd is still able to capture it. The creature is eerie looking, with brownish hair around its head, dark eyes, and a human-like mouth. It also has a big nose and a defined bone structure. The footage is rather compelling. It's unknown where these videos were captured. It seems he's trying to keep the location secret and protect the habitat of this creature because he won't reveal it. Definitely some creepy and close-up videos that may prove the existence of Bigfoot. Right towards the beginning of the year, 2 alarming photos were uploaded. Photos that may prove the existence of a specific cryptid creature, the Dogman. The trail cam owner says he retrieved his trail cameras and checked through the photos captured. And he couldn't explain what he caught on one of them. Here's his first photo. He states the first one passed by the camera seemingly unknowingly at 12:39 a.m. And then about a minute later, so at 12:40 a.m., a second one walks by. He states that maybe the creatures are brothers. Judging by looks alone, the creatures almost look exactly like what a Dogman is said to look like. They're said to be large and hairy with broad shoulders, a rather similar build to a Sasquatch, except they're often smaller and more dog-like. They're supposedly half-man, half-dog creatures that can walk around on 2 legs. In the second photo, we can see the creature has the snout and the head of a dog. Very scary stuff to say the least, and the photos are rather clear, making the evidence that much more convincing. This is actually some of the most convincing evidence of Bigfoot of all time. Trust me, watch this clip all the way to the end and it might change your perspective. 2 experienced outdoorsmen went camping one night in the early 1970s. Their names were Ron Moorhead and Al Berry. They camped in the deep woods of the Sierra Nevada mountains in eastern California. As they camped, they began to hear some of the creepiest sounds they ever heard in their lives, and they couldn't explain it. The noises seemed to come from every direction, and they seemed to surround them and get closer and closer, almost like they were being hunted. They felt like they were in extreme danger and their lives could have ended at any moment. The otherworldly vocalizations continued all night, and it sounded like the creatures were communicating. Eventually, dawn broke and whatever creatures were making these strange noises scampered back into the forest. They quickly packed up all of their belongings and got out of the area as fast as they could, vowing to never come back because of how scary and dangerous it was. But fearing nobody would believe them and wanting to document it for themselves, they agreed to go back out to the campsite with an audio recorder, risking their lives. At first, nothing really happened, and then it started to happen again. Here are their extremely convincing audio recordings.
There's 2 of them across the creek at the big rocks.
After recording this, Ron and his team wanted scientific validation of the noises they heard. So they submitted their recordings to a very trusted and renowned scientist, Dr. R. Lynn Curlin, who was a professor of electrical engineering at the University of Wyoming. The analysis concluded that the sounds had to have been made by a creature physically larger than a man. Based on the sound and pitch and vocal range, the heights of the creatures were estimated between 7'3" and 8 feet, larger than any human. Also, it was concluded that the vocal range was something like no one had ever heard. The creatures could go higher and lower than humans can. Specifically stated, the distribution of sound did not indicate that they were a product of human vocalizations, or sped up or pitched down. Also, it was revealed that the sounds in the videos were not pre-recorded or re-recorded. So all of that being said, the audio tapes were listed as real, and scientists and investigators are still mystified to this day. The only explanation is that something unknown was out there, something far more dangerous, far more large, and far more intelligent than we could ever imagine. This very, very creepy video was uploaded to YouTube in 2014, but just recently resurfaced. For the past few nights, something had been terrorizing this man. He lives alone in a remote area, and he kept hearing noises on his roof late at night. Sounds that were so loud and so frequent that they would keep him up at night. On this night, though, he's finally had enough. The noises begin again, and he goes up to figure out what it is for himself. But what he encounters would scar him for life.
Hello? Oh my god.
He climbs up and eventually reaches the roof. He looks up, and peering at him from the top of the other side of the roof is a glowing-eyed humanoid creature. The man is so startled that he falls off the roof and onto the ground below. The disturbing being peeks its head up, and when it realizes it's been spotted, it quickly ducks behind the roof. Slowing the footage down, it only gets more eerie. And taking a look at this screenshot here with enhanced brightness and quality, we can see it's pale with black hair and bright glowing eyes. It's a fact that humans' eyes do not produce eye shine like this. So if it's not human, then what is it? It looks like we may never know, but it's probably better off that way. This is some brand new footage released on August 5th, 2024 called The Jabies Cascade Bigfoot. The footage looks extremely real and it's shocking so many people. But the most mysterious part about it is that no one can find any background information. Despite lots of digging, I couldn't find any background information either. But here is the captivating Jabies Cascade Bigfoot video. The video shows a dark and wide, hunched over being in the distance. It seems to be trying to sneak around, but noticed the man's presence and tried to flee quickly and quietly. The way it walks is not the way a human walks either. Its strides are strange. This still shot here provides us with the best look. It really does look like a Bigfoot, and it's estimated around 7 feet tall or so. But until more background information is released, it may remain a mystery that may be better off unsolved. Starting the video off with some close-up footage of the infamous Dogman. The Dogman is a half-dog, half-man creature that supposedly roams throughout the deep forest. They're said to be extremely dangerous and powerful, terrorizing and stalking humans. Take a look. The video comes from Boise, Bigfoot, so it's assumed the clip comes from Boise, Idaho, deep in one of their forests there. The story was a man was out in the woods going for a nice day hike when he looked over and spotted this out-of-place creature. His footage is compelling. The supposed creature has a massive and powerful build with its broad shoulders and huge muscles. It seems to have the face of a dog but the body of a Sasquatch or gorilla. The main debate is whether this is a person in a costume or not. When trying to decide, experts typically look at the muscle structure and the definition of the subject. In this shot here, we can see the pectoral muscles move, and we also notice that its arms are super defined as well. This has swayed experts in the direction of real footage, stating that there's almost no way that it's a human in a costume. With all this being said, what do you guys think? Did this man really capture a Dogman on camera? This insane footage comes from a man named Trey Hudson via Discovery. He believes the footage that he and his team took captures an extraterrestrial portal. He also states that he's a longtime researcher, and he's always been interested in things of high strangeness, whether it be UFOs, cryptids, or the paranormal. He has a team, a very professional and qualified team that have been investigating since 2017. There's a very scary and remote place that has been dubbed the Meadow that they wanted to explore. It's infamous for its paranormal sightings and strange phenomena. So on February 11th, 2017, they set out to the area, armed with cameras, both thermal and night vision. Even though the footage was originally taken in 2017, it has just been released on August 6th, 2024. But But anyways, he and his team arrived at the site and set up their cameras and began investigating. They record the researchers walking through the woods on their cameras. Not too long after, Hudson gets a call from one of his teammates and they tell him that they are capturing random boxes forming all around the woods on their thermal cameras. Here's what happens next.
Square box. You see the X beside it, or the cross? See the cross forming? You're right on the edge, but it is fading away. It's at least 25 foot tall.
Reportedly, these cubes and boxes are commonly found in places of high strangeness, and they're believed to be portals or doorways to a different realm, a realm where extraterrestrials roam. The team gets closer and closer to the portal that's seen on the cameras, but even though it's seen on the cameras, it's not visible to the naked eye. But watch what happens as they walk right up to this supposed portal.
The team, when they went to the area where this cube or box was formed, they completely disappeared off our thermal.
Did they just disappear? Team 3, what is your location? It's completely faded
According
away
to the
now,
team, as they entered the area, it was very strange. Something like they had never experienced before. Suddenly, the forest became very dark and still, and the temperature dropped drastically. It was very cold, and they described it as pitch black. They couldn't see anything around them. Trey Hudson states that it was very, very weird because nothing in that area could have completely blocked their heat signature like that. The explanation that he and many others believe is that they disappeared because they weren't there. Perhaps they entered that portal and left the area for a few minutes. Until they walked away from the portal, they exited and came back to the worldly realm. This video and story is very crazy and it's been going very viral, so I knew I needed to share it with you. Do you guys have any explanations for this one? Let us know in the comments down below. Now this here is some of the closest and clearest footage of a supposed Bigfoot I've ever seen. It's insanely HD and we can make out every single detail on the being's face. Here is the footage. The video clip comes from a dedicated Bigfoot encrypted researcher. He has spent a lot of his life trying to locate and film these creatures. He has traveled the world visiting Sasquatch hotspots and other infamous locations. And this is some of his best footage of all time. I mean, look at this. It's very clearly not a costume, the hair is real and the mouth and nose seem to be real. It even moves around and tries to hide itself behind and between the foliage surrounding. If this is a hoax, it's some of the best hoaxing of all time, because it's almost impossible to fake such clear footage. Regardless, it's some of the clearest potential evidence you'll ever see, landing it on today's list. Taking a look at some brand new, very creepy footage. It comes from a man named Soyel Julio Lopez. The eerie CCTV footage comes from Azua, Dominican Republic. In the dead of night, his security camera was triggered, and what it caught is deeply disturbing. A woman in a white nightgown slowly walks across the property. Looking closer at the footage, she appears to be faceless. And it almost looks like her feet are facing backwards, and they even seem to disappear at times. Because of all of this, viewers related this to an evil being from Dominican folklore, La Ciguapa. According to Slapped Ham, La Ciguapa is often described as a beautiful and terrifying creature or entity. that is usually seen as a lady with black hair in a white gown or dress. It is said that she resides in the dark and deep mountains and forests of the Dominican Republic. She is known to sneak around in the dead of night, emerging from her place of hiding and rummaging through local villages, stealing food and belongings. She is also said to try to lure people into her territory, specifically men, trying to entice them and lead them deeper into the forest where they are never seen again. And as I said earlier, in the footage, it appears the entity could be walking with backwards-facing feet. This is something that's characteristic of La Ciguapa. She's said to have backwards-facing feet so that it's hard to track her, because her tracks would appear to be facing in the opposite direction. The unknown being in the footage certainly resembles what La Ciguapa is said to look like, and since it was taken in the Dominican Republic, people are taking it seriously. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This terrifying dashcam clip was taken by a couple driving late one night. They were in a rather remote and forested area. As they sped along, they accidentally hit an animal with their car. They stopped the car and they were deeply saddened as they thought they hit and killed an animal. But according to the couple, what they swore was initially an animal began to shapeshift before their eyes. What happens next is spine-chilling. They turn on their headlights only to reveal a horrifying sight. The sight of a humanoid creature jumping on the hood of their car. It's hard to see what exactly the being looks like, but it seems to be a human in a robe or cloak or something. And you can tell they're completely petrified. This is when they quickly reversed and got away from the strange creature. They sped to the nearest police station and told them what they had just witnessed. And according to their reports, the police believed them, and not only believed them, but said they have encountered strange things on that road as well. The couple is traumatized, and I'm sure they'll never drive on that road ever again. They believe they encountered a shape-shifting spirit that night, specifically a skinwalker. They saw it shapeshift from an animal to a human right before their eyes, making them believe for life. This recent mysterious footage was just released on July 25th, 2024. It occurred in Reconquista, Argentina. Some witnesses were out late at night when they spotted a strange unknown creature laying on the road. The creature is jet black and it's hunched over in a grotesque position. Its arms are very long and skinny, and they seem to come to a point at the ends. It also has a big round head and a slender body. It just sits there, moving its head around slightly. Some immediately speculated this was just a dog or a cat. However, it's bigger than a cat, and also its arms are way too long to be a dog. The way its elbows bend inwards, dogs can't bend their limbs like this, so it's impossible to be a dog. Zooming in closer, it almost looks human-shaped. Perhaps a human-dog hybrid or something. Whatever it was, the witnesses had no clue, and it looks like we have no clue as well. Let me know what you guys think it could be in the comments down below. A guy was driving late at night to his friend's house. The roads he has to take to get there are rather deserted and remote, making the drive an often eerie experience. As he drives down these roads, not a single other car is seen passing by, but what is seen is something straight out of a nightmare.
No, you know, I'm driving and I see some, like, look at there's something up there.
You can tell the man is startled and doesn't know how to react to what he's seeing. Seen on the side of the road is a white robed figure with long dark hair. They're just standing there motionless. Upping the brightness, we get a better look. Who is this woman and why is she just standing there like that? Is the explanation something paranormal, perhaps a ghostly spirit that haunts this stretch of road? Maybe a woman died in a car crash on this road and now her spirit remains in the spot of her death. Or is this some deranged lunatic trying to lure people out of their vehicles and into the woods behind? Either one is a frightening realization. In Victorville, California, on June 17, 2024, a mother and son were driving down a busy highway. The highway road was surrounded by mountains. As they drove along, they looked over into the mountains and noticed something strange. They believe they witnessed a Bigfoot or a giant or some other cryptid creature. They believe this because this mountain area is reportedly inaccessible to the public.
No, porque mira, ahí se ve pequeña en la grabación, pero se mira como que fuera, pero no. Si te fijas la es y como donde le quedan los arbustos sobrepasa. Y una persona, mira, se ve grande y está parado junto a los arbustos.
This is not an area where a person can go and just run up and down. The woman states that it's not a person and it's bigger than a person. The shape of the body doesn't look like a human. Zooming in and taking a look at some still shots, it does look pretty Bigfoot-like. It seems to be brownish in color, it has a wide body and a domed head. In analyzing the way it runs, something seems off. But many believe this is not a Bigfoot and it's actually a different cryptid creature entirely. But skeptics believe this was just a person up there. But what do you guys think? Did this mother and son really encounter an unknown creature? Now, not much information was included with this dashcam capture. A photo was attached and the source is unknown. Supposedly, a man's parked car in a residential neighborhood in Ohio snapped a photo of a giant hairy beast. The real question is, how the hell would a Bigfoot walk around a neighborhood and not be seen? These things are supposed to be super elusive and smart, so why was one supposedly spotted in a neighborhood? It was said this was taken at like 3 in the morning, so it happened when everyone was sleeping, but still. Analyzing the photo regardless, the creature has brown fur with exposed feet and hands. And its mouth is wide open as if it were yelling or something. Just a really strange and questionable photo. Like I said, it's unknown where the photo came from, so we can't verify if it's real or not, but regardless, it's still interesting. Two guys were on a road trip and they were trekking through remote mountain roads. It was late at night, so they were driving carefully and they were on high alert. But as they drove, a strange bright red figure appears on the right side of the road, and their dash cam captured all of it. The figure is rather tall and wearing a very bright red robe or dress. They're slightly walking towards the car. Reportedly, they were many miles away from civilization. They were far up into the mountains. So how and why would there be a person out there in this secluded area? The guys were deeply puzzled and also very frightened. The men, along with viewers, are left to wonder who this was and why they were there. Viewers bounce back between paranormal theories and a few other disturbing theories. One of them being this was a person who was at a cult meeting or something, deep out in the wilderness, and this was the attire they wore in the cult. Skeptics state it was probably just a lost man or woman, but judging by the eerie attire, it doesn't seem likely, especially because of how secluded the area was. So could this have been an evil, ghostly entity that haunts the mountains? Or is it a cult member, or perhaps even a killer? The following creepy video comes from an unknown source, but it's a pretty popular dashcam video, and maybe you guys have seen it before. Pretty much a man is driving along a path in the woods very late at night, when suddenly something unknown crawls out from the brush. The creature is humanoid shaped and it crawls across the path on its hands and knees. It's very pale and skinny. Its whole body is a consistent bright white color. As the man watches the creature go past, he becomes deeply unsettled and he backs away. Slowing the footage down, we can see it has skinny arms and a skinny neck with a large head. And its torso seems extremely skinny, too skinny to be a human. The otherworldly look of this being is convincing people this is a cryptid creature. Some speculate the rake, the pale, elongated humanoid creature that lurks in the woods and comes out to wreak havoc and terrorize humans and animals. This is what the rake looks like. All I know is the video is terrifying, and the driver has no idea what he captured that night. Taking a look at a video submitted to D's Dark Adventures on YouTube. In the video, a mother had just arrived home with her son. But as they got home, they noticed a strange, out-of-place man just standing in the side of the woods staring at them. The mother takes out her phone and begins recording. The man just stands there motionless, remaining completely still as if he's trying to blend in or something. The dog growls and runs towards it, but suddenly it stops in its tracks and just stands there staring back at the man. It seems the dog became frightened as it got closer and realized what it was. But what it was, we don't know. The leading theory is that the man was a skinwalker disguised as a human trying to lure the family into the forest behind. Skinwalkers are shape-shifting spirits that try to blend in with the surrounding world by camouflaging themselves and disguising themselves as humans and or animals. But deep down they're evil spirits and something always seems off. Could this guy here be a skinwalker? If not, it's obvious he's up to no good, a potential intruder or stalker. Let me know your guys' opinions in the comments down below. A man named Will travels throughout the US in his van. He films his adventures and even sleeps in his van and camps out in forests. What's so convincing about the following clip is that nothing ever happens like this in Will's videos. His videos are never focused on the horror genre, but this one would be. Initially, everything seemed normal as he found a spot in Fox Hill, London to camp out for the night. It's a rather remote and forested area. In his video, the sun sets and he cooks up some dinner at his site. Then it becomes time to sleep, but for some reason he struggles to sleep. And as he lies awake, something spine-chilling happens.
I don't think I'm going to be getting much sleep tonight.
Abnormal screams bellow in the near distance. The screeching almost sounds animalistic at first, but then it changes to human sounding. A type of scream we've never heard before. Something is just so off-putting about the noises. Some come up with theories like it was just some humans out camping, but if it was, it sounds like something terrible is happening to them. Could there have been a murderer on the loose that night? Or could it have even been something paranormal? Your guess is as good as mine. On July 17th, 2024, a downright weird piece of footage was posted. A man named Anthony Malkane was out on some boat docks when he suddenly spotted an oddity down in the water below.
Like, never tell. What is this fish? What is it? Yeah. That is not no fish.
Seen is what looks like a bloated fish-mouse hybrid or something swimming into the corner. When he zooms in closer, the footage somehow gets even more confusing when we get a better look at the creature. It seems bloated and has a strange reptilian-like tail. And it has some weird line pattern on it as well. I mean, this creature looks straight out of a sci-fi movie or something. It looks like an alien. However, I took a careful look at the footage and it seems this aquatic creature may actually be swimming upside down. And that's why we can't identify it. But even if it is swimming upside down, I still don't know what the hell it is. Do any of you know what it could be? Me and online viewers are puzzled and can't quite put a finger on it. In this video, an older man ventures out into a forest that he's all too familiar with. He wanders this forest frequently, exploring it and enjoying the nature. However, he claims the nature inside this forest isn't normal. He claims the forest is home to unidentified small creatures, goblins or pixies that hide and rarely come out. But he says he knows how to communicate with them and he even sometimes captures them on camera if he's lucky. In this video here, he finds a small cave that he says is home to one of these creatures. He sets up his camera and sits outside and begins making some knocking noises, and eventually one peeks its head out.
Yeah. So, okay, I think he's probably just...
The creature is small and pale and it has a big round head. It has dark eyes and big ears protruding from the side of its head. Experts estimate the supposed being is only around 2 to 3 feet tall. I mean, the footage looks pretty real. Does this man really know where these creatures hide and he knows how to communicate with them? Or is this too good to be true and somehow all just a hoax? Let's take a look at some trail cam footage that's pretty scary. It was taken in late April of last year, but not many have seen it. A photographer by the name of Bobby Wummer set up a low-hanging trail camera in a local forest in hopes to capture a wild predator. In total darkness, late this night, his hopes would come true. An alligator, but not just any alligator, slowly walks along the forest floor. What sets this alligator apart from the others is it only has one eye. Either this was a birth defect or it was a wound, probably from getting in a fight with another alligator. If this is the case, what a battle scar. This thing's a beast. But anyways, it walks through the shot with its one eye aglow, until it stops and decides to take a rest right in front of the camera. It seems Bobby somehow placed the camera in the perfect spot. 2 minutes later, a deer walks into frame and the alligator senses it. It turns its head slightly and hisses to scare the deer away. The deer walks away and the alligator remains in his spot. And this is when the footage comes to an end. Even though the footage is scary, it's just so amazing. Definitely some of my favorite footage of the whole video. Taking a look at an eerie video coming from Reddit. It was uploaded by user Llorona Legend. The video belongs to his friend who believes he caught La Llorona, the infamous weeping woman spirit. A white shadowy figure is seen in the video, and as it walks along, it lets out a spine-chilling cry. It cries out, alerting their dog and causing it to bark and growl. The whole encounter was very surreal to them, and they believed it really was the malevolent spirit of La Llorona. That's why they uploaded it to the internet, to get the other people's opinions and see if they agreed. And they did. If you don't know already, the legend of La Llorona is that she was a mother who drowned her children. But after the fact, she was so deeply saddened by her children's deaths that she unalived herself. And now she's left here on Earth as a sad and evil spirit mourning the loss of her children. And that's exactly why she's always heard crying. She is also said to try to lure people out into the woods. And she's often seen near water because she will try to bring you out and drown you. Creepy stuff to say the least. Taking a look at a horrifying piece of footage taken by some explorers on July 29th, 2024. These friends were out exploring their local woods late at night. They walked along the trails and enjoyed the spooky environment, but they eventually noticed someone walking on the trail across from them. They were holding a flashlight and they got closer and closer until...
Hello? Hello? What the Hey!
One of the guys calls out hello, but she doesn't respond. She then rushes towards them, raising up some sort of weapon in her hand. This is when they sprint away, narrowly escaping the deranged woman. What was the woman doing out there so late? Why was she wearing a creepy white dress wielding a weapon? Could she potentially be a serial killer or some crazy lady who tries to hurt people in the woods? Or could it even be something supernatural? Perhaps she's possessed or she's even a ghost herself. Regardless of which theory is correct, the encounter is bone-chilling. Chilling enough to keep the explorers out of the woods for the rest of their lives. But luckily they escaped with their lives. On August 1st, 2024, a truly disturbing piece of footage was released. The eerie video clip comes from a homeowner's security camera near the front steps of his home. As the man walks inside the front door of his home, an unknown orb flies right towards him. What happens next will give you chills. It seems the ghostly orb strikes the man, causing him to fly backwards and off of the porch completely. The force the man flies with is intense, and it comes out of nowhere. His friends all rush over to him to see if he's okay, but he lies there motionless. It turns out the man would be okay though, but he was rushed to the hospital where he had to get 24 stitches in his head. Could this have been an attack by evil supernatural spirits? Perhaps spirits that haunt his Colombian residence? Or is this somehow all just a coincidence? Maybe the orb just so happened to fly at him as he was flying out of the house. However, the uploader claims it was all too real and that it wasn't a coincidence. But what do you guys think about this one? Definitely some frightening footage that might keep you awake at night. Brand new footage from Brazil is making waves throughout social media right now. It was just highlighted on Instagram on August 2nd. The infamous footage is being called the clearest UFO sighting in history. Take a look. The video shows a silver saucer-shaped object ripping through the sky. It flies rather straight and seems to slightly shift shapes as the video goes on. The man has a video camera that is able to zoom in very far and capture this captivating footage. You can see he shows the cars and traffic below, and then he zooms in on the UFO. No earthly craft looks like this, so what could it be? It even has the trademarked UFO saucer shape. The footage was taken by witness Zona Desconhecida, specifically in Curitiba, Brazil. The caption also states that the craft has some sort of landing gear that disappears later in the video. Definitely some of the most convincing UFO footage we've ever seen. This video here supposedly shows close-up and clear footage of a Yeti. Not much is known about the footage, causing more mystery. But watch as a man hides in a bush and videos this angry giant creature.
Господи, только не мой новый смартфон. Ой, прячься. Господи! Ой, ты батюшки мои, боже!
It seems the creature was raiding the campsite but becomes very angry. It seems to grab a bag of some sort and throw it around while stumbling towards the man in the bush. It then falls and the video cuts off. Now this video certainly could be fake, considering how close up it is and how it falls over the man like that. But how could this be a man in a costume? It's estimated at around 8 feet tall, taller and way bigger than any human. And the creature looks realistic too. It's covered in white fur, it has a dark face, and its muscles seem to be defined as well. This video has been spreading throughout social media, so I figured I'd show you guys. Could this man really have been at his campsite when this thing showed up and he ran and hid in this bush? And it is real footage? Your guess is as good as mine. The following video comes from news channel KUTV. They were out on a forested path very late at night doing a segment on flooding in the area. It appears the path is very secluded and not often seen by human life. But take a look at what happens while they were live on air.
As far as the damage goes, actually a dog coming into our live shot. I think it's a dog. I'm not sure. But anyway, there's some sort of creature below me, and really all that's been affected is...
An animal that she initially thought was a dog walks right past. But the scary thing is, this wasn't a dog at all. It was a mountain lion. Mountain lions are known to be extremely dangerous, and they often attack humans if they get too close. But for some reason, this one just leisurely walks by, practically ignoring the humans. After this, it flashed back to the other news reporters, and they said they didn't think it was a dog and that they needed to get out of there. Luckily, this normally aggressive cat was very docile. Because they were live on air, and who knows what could have happened next, it would have all been caught on camera live for the whole world to see. Even though this is a known creature here, it doesn't make it any less terrifying, especially the fact that it was only inches from her. This news crew definitely got very lucky this night. The following video comes from a construction worker in Melbourne, Australia. It was posted just the other day. While he was working on this local site, he took notice to something strange in the sky above. He saw an out-of-place, bright glowing light. The man, completely baffled by what he was seeing, he pulled out his phone and took this video.
What the is that?
That's crazy, man. What the?
You can tell he's shocked and doesn't know what he's looking at. Looking closer, it looks extremely foreign. It's just a bright, glowing bar of yellowish light that seems to slightly move around. What could possibly cause a phenomenon like this? Skeptics discuss potential theories such as drones or weather balloons. But when have we ever seen a drone that looks like this? And what kind of weather balloon emits bright light like this? This is why many people believe it could be something supernatural, perhaps extraterrestrial beings in a strange light craft. I will keep you all updated if more information is released about this one since it's so recent. Hopefully someone can figure it out. Sticking with the topic of UFOs and extraterrestrials, this is some of the craziest trail cam evidence ever. A couple, Rainer and Edith Shaddles, live in a very remote part of Mississippi. They have lots of vast property, so they decided to set up a photo-taking trail camera on their property to capture bucks. Most of the time, they would capture exactly what they were hoping for. Lots of deer and bucks would roam by, making for some cool shots and telling them even more about the wildlife. But what would happen on this winter night would change their lives. At 7:24 p.m., the first photo is captured of a few deer. At 7:29, a small, out-of-place light appears to cast over the setting. At 7:35, the unknown light becomes brighter and more defined. At 7:53, a very odd shape appears on the camera. A shape that almost seems ghostly. It's white and shadowy, and it doesn't look like anything we've ever seen before. And then at 7:55, the area where the deer are seems to be lit up, which is impossible because the camera doesn't emit light and there's nothing out there that could possibly be causing a bright spotlight appearance like this. Then at 7:56, more shadowy lights appear, and we can slightly make out what seems to be a pair of glowing eyes floating about 7 feet off the ground. Just a pair of eyes, nothing else. Then at 8:09 p.m., the most compelling capture yet, a deer in the foreground and a defined set of glowing eyes in the background. The eyes are bright, and they're looking right at the deer. Then reportedly it flies away. They also caught another instance of a deer with a light shining on it, but no one is holding the light. It appears the light is just floating there. The couple states that it was something they've never seen before. Rainer says if it's aliens, I'm not sure, but it's definitely a UFO of some kind. Rainer also says he thinks the whole thing is pretty cool. Even though it's scary, he enjoys it, and says that it's a pretty cool mystery that will probably never be solved. Taking a look at a video where a couple is out in the woods together. It's the middle of winter and they've hiked to a very secluded area, something they would do a lot, but this day wouldn't be like the rest.
This is it. Maybe it wasn't 2012, it was 2013. It's not an animal, is it? Hang on. Oh yeah, that was loud. Alright.
As they were out enjoying the peaceful wintry forest, deep gut-wrenching noises began to echo through the forest. Noises so loud they were heard for miles. These otherworldly noises went on for a while, freaking the hikers out, scaring them enough to cause them to leave the woods for good. The noises sound extremely otherworldly. Something sounds so foreign and off-putting about them. What could be responsible for these sounds? Could it be Bigfoot or some other unknown massive creature bellowing from the deep forest? Or is it somehow a worldly phenomenon? It truly is the definition of eerie. YouTube channel Outdoor Boys recently uploaded a terrifying video to their channel. They typically film camping and survival type videos, and rarely are these videos ever scary, but this one would turn out to be the scariest of all. The man and his son were hammock camping in the vast mountains of Alaska. Everything seemed rather routine. He sets up his tent and he's beginning to get stuff together for a fire inside when something unexpected happens.
The fireplace turned around so I could work on it a bit. Hear that?
From right outside his tent, deep laughing noises are heard. Noises that he believes are coming from a pack of wolves. Apparently, wolves are known to make strange laughing noises like this. However, many online viewers speculated this wasn't a wolf at all, rather something unknown, perhaps a Bigfoot or some other cryptid. However, he chalks it up to just being some wolves. Either way, it's a downright chilling encounter. The sounds are bone-chilling, and knowing that any kind of dangerous predator is right outside your tent like this would be so horrifying. So whether it is just wolves or an unidentified creature, both are frightening realizations.
A YouTuber is hiking in the woods when he stumbles upon something straight out of a horror film.
In 2016, user Dateline420 was exploring the woods of Suffolk County, New York, when he found himself in the center of something very disturbing.
We're deep in the woods. Anyway, I'll cut right to the chase because I might die. Look what these are. What the is going on in here? These are all different people.
Multiple missing persons posters from people across the country are seen taped to the surrounding trees. As he continues to document what he found, he didn't expect what would happen next.
All of these sticks that you can see, they're all lashed together at right angles, as if to make a cage. Stacy Peterson, 23 years old, missing from Illinois, 2007. Oh shit, I heard voices. We have to get the out of here.
He would later go on to file a police report, and upon a brief investigation, the police were told by the owners of the land that the setup was simply for an upcoming Halloween party.
But the YouTuber isn't buying it, so he returns to the area on October 31st, Halloween night.
Attach them to the trees with ordinary masking tape. These aren't even laminated. This is posted, private property, no trespassing. We've got one there, one there, one there.
No signs of a party at all, but instead multiple no trespassing signs were found taped to the trees along the property line.
This would be the last video documenting this area, leaving all who watched in suspense to wonder what exactly was going on in this small enclosed section of the woods of Suffolk County.
To see the clips in full, you can visit his page linked down below, and be sure to tell them that Maximum Fear and Ghost Host sent you. Taking a look at some footage that has been going very viral recently and people are freaking out. It was taken on Thursday, February 29th, 2024 at approximately 1:11 a.m. A man was filming the sky with his phone and zoomed in on the moon. Then the video suddenly takes a dark turn. As the man zooms in closer, a massive face appears and becomes more and more defined as the video goes on. It's right beside the moon and it has a whitish, grainy appearance. Now the main question between debaters is if it's edited or unedited. Some theorists claim it looks computer generated like AI or something, but others are convinced that it is something otherworldly. A powerful entity looking down at Earth with an angry look on its face. Other skeptics touch on the fact that it could have been clouds or something that created a strange face-like object. But this doesn't seem very likely, as the footage is very clear and it doesn't seem like there are any clouds around or anything, so I don't think it could be that. Because of how viral this video is going, I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention. It could very well be faked or edited, but regardless, it is still a very creepy piece of footage and an interesting topic of conversation. On July 17th, 2024, a man would have a shocking encounter on his back deck. The back deck on the second story of the house is followed by dense forest behind, but there's one big tree that sticks up directly behind it. The tree has a bird feeder on top to feed the myriad of birds that fly around the area. But today it seems like something else wanted that food, a dangerous predator.
Tina, we gotta have a talk. You can't have my bird feeder. I don't care, you can't have it. I know you're hungry. Eat what bears eat, but you can't have bird feeders. I'm telling you, you're gonna make me mad now. Yeah, you get down. Where are you going? Get down.
A black bear is climbing up the very tall tree in an attempt to get some of the bird feed. But the man stops it in its tracks. He scolds the bear like it's some household pet or something, and not some ferocious wild predator. The bear growls at the man viciously, but the man is completely unfazed and doesn't back down. The bear listens to the threats of the man, but then two baby cubs appear. Usually bears are very protective around their cubs, so luckily this man was able to scare off the bear without making it too protective. All of the bears and the man escape this encounter unharmed. Just a truly crazy piece of footage. I'd like to say that I'd have the guts in that situation to confront the bear like this, but honestly, I don't know if I could do it. This trail cam video comes from a trail camera mounted to a tree deep in the woods. Watch as a giant animal walks right in front of it. It's a moose, a giant moose. Seeing a moose this big in the dead of night is certainly an eerie sight. They look spooky enough in the daylight, but they look even more scary at night. This close-up footage gives us a good look at the huge size of these animals. Most people underestimate how big and powerful moose are, but they're absolute machines and you definitely don't want to mess with one. This very scary encounter happened on July 28th, 2024. A woman was out alone on a paddleboard just enjoying the ocean, when suddenly she was confronted by a group of unexpected animals.
It's okay. Hi. I'm just saying hi. It's okay. It's alright.
Around 4 or so orca whales swim up to her and get very close. You can tell she's deeply frightened and scared for her life as she breathes heavily and tries to keep herself calm. However, orca whales will practically never attack a human in the wild. They generally don't pose any threat to us. But they're sometimes called killer whales, so that makes them seem even more scary too. You just have to imagine being out there on the paddleboard alone and being surrounded by giant and potentially dangerous predators. I don't blame her for being scared at all, but luckily she made it out of the encounter completely okay, just a little bit shaken up. This terrifying video took place in April of 2024. A woman from Queensland, Australia was driving through Redland City near Brisbane when she had a life-threatening encounter. As she drives down a small city road, she spots a man and a woman just walking down the middle of the road. What happens next will catch you by surprise. The man turns around and notices the car. In a fit of rage, he leaps up onto the hood and punches the windshield in. After this, the man reportedly ran around and tried to open the passenger side door, but luckily it was locked. Because the woman's car had a certain safety feature, it wouldn't let her drive away. When the car senses someone or something is on the hood of the car, it won't let you drive. Also, the woman was standing pretty close behind her, so she couldn't reverse either. She was trapped. Luckily, when the man hopped off the hood of the car, the safety feature went away and she was able to drive away successfully. She sped out of there and drove directly to the nearest police station, and she relayed the details to authorities. This attack is still under investigation and the suspects haven't been located. It's unknown what the man's intentions were. Was this all an attempted robbery scheme, or could it have been something even worse? The following video took place somewhere in South Africa. A man was driving to work when something horrifying happened to him, and luckily he had a dash cam that captured every second. From the left side of the road, two armed men step out into the road, blocking his path. Then a third man jumps in from the right side of the road. The man in red, holding a pistol, aims it at him and gets up extremely close to his car. Luckily, there were no other cars behind him at the moment, so he threw it in reverse and backed up quickly. He was able to create just enough distance between him and the men to begin to turn around and try to drive away the other way. The men sprint towards him and get dangerously close once again, but he narrowly escapes and successfully drives away in the other direction. The craziest part about this encounter is that it happened in broad daylight with multiple people watching. Just imagine what happens on these streets of South Africa when no one is watching and it's dark. The following video has been going very viral on TikTok. It was uploaded on April 6th, 2024 and has amassed over 69 million views. There's a certain TikTok trend with music playing in the background, where you're supposed to turn the lights on and off with the beat and the words of the song. And this innocent guy here just wanted to try the trend out. He was in his car alone filming and his spirits were high. He's enjoying doing this trend and having fun, until it suddenly takes a dark and disturbing turn. The second time he turns the lights off, a face appears in the passenger seat. But when he turns the light back on, it's gone. At first, he doesn't notice it, but when he does, he gets extremely spooked. His reaction seems very genuine, and that's why this video is getting so much traction. Online viewers believe he's being haunted by a ghostly spirit, but if the spirit is good or bad, we don't know. In Hoedspruit, South Africa, in June of 2021, a man was driving down a dirt road out in the wilderness. As he drove along, he stopped his car completely because a giant animal began to block his path. A giant African elephant. It seems angry at the man's presence, and we know this is true when it suddenly rushes towards the car. The strength of this elephant is insane. It sticks its tusks into the hood of the car, completely dismantling it. It carries the car and turns it around, and then luckily it leaves, feeling as if it did enough. The man had a two-way dash cam in his car, so it captured his reaction as well. You can tell the man is scared to death and doesn't know what to do. Luckily, the elephant left when it did because it could have done so much more damage if it wanted to. And I'm sure the man feels very lucky after surviving this encounter. Just a crazy piece of dashcam footage, some of the craziest of the whole video. On July 23rd, 2024, something crazy would happen. It happened just off the coast of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I'll let the footage here speak for itself. The man in the boat begins recording just in time to capture it. An absolutely huge whale launches out of the water and directly onto the boat behind, capsizing the boat and sending the two boaters overboard. I mean, what are the odds this whale happened to jump and land right on their boat? Luckily, it didn't land completely on them because they would have been crushed. The two men were pulled out of the water to safety, and the humpback whale was also unharmed. You can even see in this clip that they rescued the two men.
Oh my god.
Just imagine yourself in this position. This had to be one of the scariest moments of their lives, landing it on today's list. On July 15th, 2024, a scary encounter would be uploaded to the internet. A group of guys were out deep sea fishing, and in the blink of an eye, it went very wrong. A blue marlin jumps out of the water and directly onto the man. Luckily, he only suffered minor injuries and everyone was completely okay. The spear hits him directly in the face, destroying his earpiece. But it doesn't impale him, it gets close, but it just goes right beside him. The force of the fish was so great that it sent him flying to the other side of the boat. This is actually kind of typical with these types of fish. Swordfish, sailfish, and marlins all jump out of the water like this, and in some instances hit boaters. This encounter could have gone much worse. Luckily, everyone was okay, and the guy still caught the fish of a lifetime. Definitely a fishing story and video for the ages. This disturbing video was taken on August 15th, 2019. A police officer is driving down a road and his two-way police cruiser dashcam captured every moment of the incident. At first, he's seen texting and driving, something we should never do. This is what we take notice of first, but what happens next completely disregards the texting and driving aspect.
Sync will attempt to call 911. If you wish to cancel the call, please.
Out of nowhere, a car flies over the median and smashes directly into the front left of the police cruiser. The impact is so sudden and intense that the officer flies forward and the airbags are set off. If the officer wouldn't have been texting and driving, he could have potentially avoided the collision altogether. But it would have been hard regardless, and the accident is obviously not his fault. Shaken up and injured, the officer sits there for a second. Then he exits his mangled vehicle. Ambulances were called to the scene. Luckily, both the police officer and the other driver survived with non-life-threatening injuries. The officer was taken to the hospital and evaluated by medical professionals. It's assumed this Tulsa police officer made a speedy recovery, as well as the other driver. but it's still unknown how and why the other driver was able to launch themselves over the median and onto the other side of the highway. But what really matters is that everyone was okay. This encounter was released on June 29th, 2024, coming from the northern US. The caption reads, "Red Bigfoot caught on camera by Hunter. Here's the footage."
Oh, come on, Ward. It's right there. I have my glasses on. Look at that. That's what's making the noise. Holy. I'm pretty sure that was the thing that was making the noise.
As stated, the hunter was out hunting when he came across a massive hairy creature. Initially, many thought it was an orangutan, but the hunter assures us that it's not. He believes it was a Bigfoot. Also, monkeys do not reside anywhere in the northern US, and practically nowhere in the US at all for that matter. So how could this be a monkey then? But anyways, he eventually musters up the courage to hit a rock really hard on a tree beside him to see what the hairy beast does. And that's when it spots him and moves away, not wanting to be seen.
I don't know if I should do this or not. It's not even a... Oh, where is it? Where's that? It's... Oh, holy...
As it moves away though, we get a good shot of its upper portion. Its shoulders are broad and its head is a dome shape covered in fur. And it moves almost human-like, common characteristics of a Sasquatch. We can tell the hunter recording is pretty shaken up and doesn't know how to rationalize what he's seeing. I mean, imagine you're just minding your own business hunting and all of a sudden you come across this. Alright, I think it's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, go ahead and smash the like buttons, mom. Let's aim for 2,000 likes for another one of these scary trail camera videos. And if you want to get to know me more, you want to see more of my spooky content, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Maxwell Fear, or you can go ahead and follow me on TikTok, Maximum Fear YT. And be sure to subscribe to the channel because only 14% of you guys who watch my videos are subscribed. And be sure to hit that bell as well so you don't miss when I upload. Also, feel free to check out my special Maximum Fear merchandise and coffee mugs. They're in the description down below. And also feel free to check out my brand new second channel, More Maximum Fear, where I post other content. Alright, I hope your fear was maximized. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.